Ever pondered about the characteristics that make you who you are? Each of us is a unique blend of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, shaped by an intricate tapestry of personality traits. These traits serve as the underlying foundation that influences how we navigate our world, from the way we engage with others to how we react to life's myriad challenges and opportunities. Now imagine if we could distill this complex mix into 5 core traits, a quintet of characteristics that can provide a comprehensive overview of our personality. Intriguing, isn't it? This is the essence of the Big 5 personality traits, a psychological theory that has been making waves for its profound insights into the human psyche. Whether you're a curious explorer of the mind or someone seeking to understand yourself better, this concept holds a wealth of revelations. So, are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery? Dive into the fascinating world of the Big 5 personality traits and discover more about yourself. First off, let's unravel the trait of openness. Openness is an enchanting trait, much like a door that leads to a room full of wonders. It's the trait that fuels a person's inquisitiveness, their drive to discover, to explore, and to understand the world in all its complexity. Imagine a person who thrives on learning new things. They are not content with the surface. They have a thirst to delve deeper, to comprehend the underlying mechanisms of things, people, and events. They're the ones you'll find engrossed in a thick book on a subject that others might find too complex or even mundane. They are the ones who will stay up late into the night, tinkering with an idea or a problem until they've figured it out. This is a classic example of a highly open individual. Now consider someone who is imaginative and curious. They view the world through a lens of potentiality. For them, every moment is an opportunity to create, to innovate, to dream. They are the ones who see not just a blank canvas, but a potential masterpiece. They're the ones who see beyond the ordinary and dare to envision the extraordinary. This is another manifestation of high openness. But let's not forget that openness is not just about being intellectually curious or creative, it's also about being open to experiences, to emotions, to different perspectives. It's about having the ability to step out of your comfort zone, to welcome change, to embrace the unfamiliar. It's the trait that enables you to grow, to adapt, and to evolve. It's important to note that like any personality trait, openness exists on a spectrum. Some people may score high on openness while others may score low, and that's completely fine. We are all unique individuals with our own blend of personality traits. So, if you're always searching for new experiences and knowledge, you might score high on openness. But remember, it's not about scoring high or low. It's about understanding yourself better, recognizing your strengths, and working on areas for growth. It's about embracing who you are in all your complexity and uniqueness. Now, on to our next trait, conscientiousness. Picture this. You're at work and you have a colleague who's always ahead of deadlines, who never fails to deliver high-quality work, and who's the go-to person when something needs to get done. This person is organized, detail-oriented, and reliable. In the realm of the Big 5 personality traits, we'd say this individual exhibits a high level of conscientiousness. Conscientiousness, as a personality trait, is about how we control, regulate, and direct our impulses. It's the trait that helps us plan ahead, organize our tasks, and follow through to completion. People who score high in conscientiousness tend to be organized and mindful of details. They plan ahead, think about how their behavior affects others, and are mindful of deadlines. Let's consider another example. Imagine a student who always submits assignments on time, maintains an impeccably organized study schedule, and is always prepared for exams well in advance. This student is showing signs of high conscientiousness. In contrast, a student who often procrastinates, forgets about deadlines, and has a chaotic study routine might be on the lower end of the conscientiousness scale. Conscientiousness is also linked to dependability. If you've ever had a friend who is always on time, sticks to their word, and can always be relied upon, then you've experienced this aspect of conscientiousness firsthand. On the flip side, people who are less conscientious may struggle with reliability, often changing plans at the last minute or frequently running late. As we delve deeper into understanding conscientiousness, it's important to remember that like all personality traits, it exists on a spectrum. We all have some level of conscientiousness, but the degree can greatly vary from person to person. And while high conscientiousness may often be seen as desirable, especially in work or school settings, there's value in balance. After all, spontaneity and flexibility have their own charms too. If you're someone who is always organized and reliable, you might have a high level of conscientiousness. Ever wondered why some people are the life of the party? That's probably due to the trait of extraversion. Extraversion, also known as outgoingness, is one of the 5 major dimensions of personality in psychology. It's often associated with individuals who are outgoing, talkative, and enjoy being in social situations. This doesn't mean introverts don't enjoy socializing, but they may prefer smaller, more intimate gatherings, while extroverts thrive in larger, more dynamic crowds. Now, let's delve into the 3 key facets of extraversion: sociability, assertiveness, and emotional expressiveness. Firstly, sociability. Extroverts are often the ones who strike up conversations, make new friends easily, and feel energized by being around others. They're the ones you'll find chatting up a storm at a party or making connections at networking events. Think of that friend who always seems to know everyone, everywhere you go. Secondly, assertiveness. Extroverts are generally comfortable expressing themselves, standing their ground, and taking charge when needed. They're not shy about voicing their opinions or desires, which can make them effective leaders. Picture a team leader who confidently directs and motivates their team towards a common goal. Lastly, emotional expressiveness. Extroverts tend to wear their hearts on their sleeves. Their joy, excitement, or even frustration can be infectious, spreading to those around them. Imagine someone who lights up the room with their laughter, or whose enthusiasm gets everyone else excited about a project. However, it's important to remember that extraversion, like all personality traits, isn't black and white. It's a spectrum. You could be high in sociability but low in assertiveness. Or you might be emotionally expressive but prefer smaller social gatherings. It's this unique combination of traits that makes each of us who we are. So, if you find yourself often the center of attention, always eager to meet new people and comfortable expressing your emotions openly, you likely have a high degree of extraversion. But remember, there's no right or wrong level of extraversion. It's simply a part of what makes you uniquely you. If you're often the center of attention and love socializing, you likely have a high degree of extraversion. Moving forward, let's discuss the trait of agreeableness. This personality trait is all about interpersonal relationships and how we approach and respond to others around us. People who score high in agreeableness are typically kind, empathetic, and cooperative. They're the ones who are often described as the nice or friendly person in the room. But what does this actually look like in everyday life? Let's dive into some examples. Imagine you're at a community event and someone accidentally spills their drink. The person high in agreeableness is likely the first to rush over with a towel, reassuring the embarrassed partygoer that it happens to everyone. They're driven by their innate empathetic nature, always ready to help ease a situation and maintain harmony. Or consider a team project at work or school. When disagreements arise about the direction of the project, those high in agreeableness are often the mediators. They're the ones who strive to understand everyone's viewpoint, working to find a solution that satisfies all parties involved. They value cooperation and are typically more interested in achieving a harmonious outcome than pushing their own agenda. But it's important to remember that, like all traits, agreeableness exists on a spectrum. Not everyone who is agreeable is a pushover or overly passive. It's not about suppressing your own needs or always saying yes. Rather, it's about having a genuine concern for others and a desire to maintain positive, harmonious relationships. Perhaps you're someone who's always there for your friends, ready to listen and offer advice when they're going through a tough time. Or maybe you're the colleague who's always willing to help out when someone's workload is heavy. These are all signs of agreeableness. However, it's also crucial to remember that being low in agreeableness isn't a bad thing. It simply means that you might be more competitive or challenging, which can be beneficial in many situations. Like all traits, it's about balance and understanding how your personality shapes your interactions with the world around you. If you're always willing to lend a helping hand and value harmony, you might be high in agreeableness. Last but not least, let's delve into the trait of neuroticism. Neuroticism, the final pillar of the Big Five personality traits, deals with our emotional stability, or perhaps more accurately, our instability. It's the trait that's closely linked to feelings of anxiety, mood swings, and irritability. Think about it this way. It's like being on an emotional roller coaster, where the highs are really high and the lows are really low. One minute you're on cloud 9, the next you're in the depths of despair. It's like being stuck in a thunderstorm, where the weather changes in the blink of an eye. People with high levels of neuroticism tend to be more susceptible to stress and often find it difficult to cope with challenging situations. They're more likely to interpret ordinary situations as threatening and minor frustrations as hopelessly difficult. If you're prone to worry and emotional instability, you might score high on neuroticism. Now, having explored all 5 traits, let's quickly recap. We began with openness, the first of the big 5 personality traits. It's all about how open you are to new experiences and ideas. If you're high in openness, you're likely to be imaginative, curious, and creative. You enjoy exploring unknown territories, whether they're physical places or abstract concepts. But if you're low in openness, you prefer sticking to the familiar and thrive on routine. Next, we delved into conscientiousness. It measures how organized and dependable you are. High conscientiousness means you're meticulous, reliable, and like to plan ahead. You keep your promises and meet your deadlines. But if you're low in conscientiousness, you might be more spontaneous, even a bit disorganized, but you're also flexible and can easily adapt to changes. Then we explored extraversion. This trait is about how much you draw energy from social interactions. If you're high in extraversion, you're outgoing, talkative, and enjoy being the center of attention. On the other hand, if you're introverted or low in extraversion, you prefer more quiet, solitary activities and need alone time to recharge. We unfolded agreeableness next. This trait reflects how much you value harmony in your relationships. Highly agreeable people are empathetic, cooperative, and avoid conflicts. But if you're low in agreeableness, you're more competitive and assertive, and you're not afraid to express your disagreements. Lastly, we unmasked neuroticism. It's about how you respond to stress. If you're high in neuroticism, you might be more sensitive to stress, prone to worry, and experience more frequent mood swings. But if you're low in neuroticism, you're generally calm, stable, and less likely to get flustered under pressure. All these traits are not inherently good or bad. They're simply different ways of being. They help us understand ourselves and others better. They allow us to appreciate the diversity of human personality, and they remind us that we are all unique, each with our strengths and challenges. Remember, everyone's unique, and these traits are just a way to understand and appreciate our differences. Subscribe and don't forget to take care of yourselves. Goodbye.